This morning, the Secretary gave us the direction. He told us where this country is going, and then he left one question deliberately open. Not what we are building, because he answered that, but what these capabilities. Now let our partners pursue. Let me try to answer that question. Not with forecasts and not with a list of promises, but with a method. Because here's the honest truth about artificial intelligence. Its value will not be measured by the number of models we train, or the papers we publish, or the conferences we attend. It will be measured by one thing only: whether a researcher, a regulator, or a small business owner who will never write a single line of code, one day able to pick up a tool and simply use it. That is the test. And everything I am about to describe is being built to pass it. The program our team works is called ACABI PH, or Advancing Computing, Analytics, Big Data, and Artificial Intelligence in the Philippines. I would ask you not to picture this as a single project and not a single brilliant laboratory. Picture instead a delivery model. If the National AI Strategy of the Philippines, or NAIS-PH, sets the direction, the where and the why, then ACABI PH is one of the main engines that turns that direction into actual work on the ground. The way it works is this. Through ACABI, or ACABI PH, DOST-ASTI, the country's AI hub, supports its fellow research institutes as they develop AI solutions for the stakeholders they serve. The institute brings the problem, the sector, and the people who will use the result. We bring the AI support. And many institutes, the same national push behind every one of them. And the program is, at this stage, is in its second year, which is exactly why I want to speak to you about method. This morning, you heard the direction from our secretary. This afternoon, let me take you underneath it, to the machine that turns a direction into real work. Because a direction is a destination. A method is the road. The road is the part you can walk and test and build upon. And the road, built well, will one day carry work far heavier than the work it carries now. Take textile. Screening the quality of fabric today still depends on specialized testing workflows, careful technical processes that take equipment and trained hands. Now, that problem does not belong to us, the AI specialist. It belongs to the people who have lived with it for decades. The Philippine Textile Research Institute, or PTRI, one of the institutes ACABI brings into the program. So that is exactly where the program turns. This is where the model works. The Textile Research Institute, the people who have worked this problem for decades, is the one developing the tool. For textile sector, it serves. And DOST-ASTI, it supports the work through ACABI PH, bringing AI capability alongside the institute's own expertise. The tool is called TechScan. From the very first day, it is built alongside the industry partner. So that path to real world is designed early rather than bolted at the end. The aim is modest and exact. A tool that a non-specialist could one day pick up and use. Not one that needs an AI engineer standing in the room. Now look closely at the shape of that, because it is the whole point. The single project shows the model in miniature. The repeatable, four-step pattern the program is designed to follow. 1, a partner institute owns the problem, the sector, and the solution. 2, DOST-ASTI supports the work through ACA by PH, capability alongside the institute's own expertise. So that's through infrastructure sharing or capacity building. And 4, the design points. From the very start toward use by a non-specialist. Remember those 4 steps, because the same pattern is being put to work again. If that were one clever tool, it would be pleasant story and nothing more. But it's not just one tool. It is a pattern. And that same 4-step pattern is being applied in parallel across DOST Research Network. Each partner institute bringing a problem that only it truly understands. Take nutrition. With our support through the program, the FNRI, or the Food Nutrition Research Institute, is modernizing the Philippine food composition table, the quiet reference that sits behind our dietary policy and labels on the food we buy, and developing an assistant so that, in time, a nutritionist can query Filipino food data far more directly than is possible today. Take our forests. With the same support, the Forest Product Research and Development Institute, or FPRDI, together with a partner in Malaysia, is developing an AI-assisted wood identification tool being built to identify economically important and illegally traded Philippine wood species from single photograph. Think about who needs a tool like that. Our conservation officers, our custom inspectors, the police, anyone standing online against illegal logging. And yes, here at DOST-ASTI, the AI Hub itself, we hold our work to that same test. Example, V-Bantay, a traffic system being trained to recognize tricycles, jeepneys, motorcycles, and imported models. And then Museo, building high-precision digital twins of our national heritage. Itanong, designed so that ordinary citizen can ask questions in plain Filipino and get a straight answer back. This is our own version of ChatGPT. And Dimer, a national model repository, built so that model trained can be deployed many times across many agencies. This is our model store. 4 AI tools of our own, each carrying the same conviction that runs through its whole talk. The technology has to reach the people who will actually use it. Some of these you may have even seen in the exhibits outside. Textiles, nutrition, forest, transport, national heritage, one program. 4 agencies, 4 sectors, but many use cases. It sits on the same platform, now being organized through the same delivery model, on the same national capability. That is the differentiator. Not one brilliant laboratory that we hope to copy someday. This is a method that is designed deliberately to repeat. No single team could ever understand fabric and forest and food all at once. And the truth is, it does not have to. The model is precisely what lets one national capability serve all of them at the same time. But a tool on its own changes nothing. A model is not impact. Impact only begins at the moment people outside the AI team can understand where the tool fits, test it against their own real needs, and start to build towards using it. So model has a second half, and that second half has a name and a structure. It's called Ignite, or Ignite MSMEs. The program's or Akabay's capacity building pathway. And I want you to notice first what it is not. It's not a one-time seminar. It is designed as a phased pipeline, 5 steps deep. And the steps are built to carry participants from curiosity toward proof of concept development. It begins with ADAPT, honest research into whether an enterprise is even ready for AI. Then, ideate, ideation workshops, where MSMEs find the precise AI fits inside their own operations. Then, AI Dev, hands-on bootcamps for university, student teams, because of the next generation of builders should be building, not merely watching. Then, Academy, or AI Academy, extended, mentored, project development where an idea is carried forward into real proof of concept. And finally, AI Accelerate, eco training so that the capability does not stay locked in one place or one cohort. Do you see the shape of it? The capacity component is not an afterthought, bolted at the end. It is the bridge running from national AI infrastructure all the way down to ground-level adoption. The MSMEs bring the real business problems. The universities and students help build proof of concept work. And where all of this finally lands, out in the regions, in the hands of the people who will actually use it, is the crown our colleague from the regions will cover. That is why the program has, at its very core, an institutional backbone. So we need something where these initiatives will land or will stand on. And now I introduce NICRI, or it has also already been mentioned this morning, the National AI Center for Research and Innovation, which formally established or launched last February. Let me give you the relationship in a single line. Everything I have described creates a demand. That's the ACABI. The live growing need for AI across agencies and our sectors. NICRI is the backbone being built to meet that demand. What it actually is, and exactly how it works, is the subject of the colleague of mine who follows me, Bani, later on. So I will name it and I will hand it to him. So let me gather all of this. Honestly, as we aim for we're working toward applied AI in more of our sectors, built by institutes that own the problems with our support through the program, never simply handed to them. We're working toward a widening national bench of people in government, in the academy, in our smallest enterprises, who can both build and use AI. And we are working toward a capability that is engineered to endure, carried on a backbone built to last. So let me answer the Secretary's question plainly. On behalf of the program, for whose benefit? For the textile worker, for the nutritionist, for the forester, for the small business owner, and for the student in some region far from this room who has too often sat just outside the reach of these tools. And what does the capability now let our partners pursue? Sector by sector, agency by agency. It lets them stop waiting for technology to arrive from somewhere else and begin, instead, to learn to build it themselves. Here, on Filipino problems. That is ACABI PH. Not a finished promise, an honest working method. And so, I will close not with a boast, but with an invitation. Bring us your hardest problem. The more concretely you bring it to us, the more useful every bit of this becomes. Because this was never meant to be one program's achievement or our agencies. It is meant to become a shared national capability. And shared capability only works if you, in this room, help us build it. Maraming salamat po.